Welcome, sweet friends, to the channel Frugal Money Saver. My name is Emmy. My husband is Paul. We're an early retirement, debt and mortgage-free couple living in the Hudson Valley area of New York. We're so glad you joined us today. Today we are talking about zero food waste. That means keeping a stock pantry, using up what you have, and not letting food go to waste, and creating some delicious zero food waste recipes as well. So the first thing we are seeing is rising gas prices here in the Hudson Valley area of New York. I am sure you are seeing them where you are as well. They were coming down for a while, but now they are shooting right back up again. So we need to start revamping our budgets again, looking where we can save a little bit, and as always, your food budget is a great place to start. Wasted food is basically wasted money. And there are so many ways that we can take those little bits and pieces of food that we have in our refrigerator, maybe in our pantry, and create them into mouth-watering meals. The first thing I want to encourage you with is to keep a stocked pantry. And I'm going to give you a list of about 13 foods, and this is in no way a complete list, but this is a good jumping off point. These are just some great items to keep on hand for a quick meal or to add to a meal or as an ingredient to a meal. Number 1, oats. Number 2, peanut butter. Number 3, canned pumpkin. Number 4, dry beans or canned beans. Number 5, canned vegetables. And you can get them without salt, which is what I recommend you do when you can season them to taste, because a lot of time canned vegetables are loaded with sodium. Number 6 is oil, whether it be vegetable oil, olive oil, whichever oil you prefer. Number 7 is canned meat or fish. Number 8 is flour. Number 9 is some sort of sweetener, whether you keep sugar, honey, pure maple syrup, whatever works for you. Number 10 is pasta. Number 11 is rice. Number 12 is either jarred tomato sauce or canned tomatoes. And number 13 are spices: salt, pepper, garlic, onion. Now again, this is just a jumping off point. Of course, if there are food allergies or dietary restrictions, not all these are going to work for you, so you adjust them accordingly. So that's the first thing. We want to have a well-stocked pantry. The second thing we want to think about is to constantly go through your refrigerator and look for those items that need to be used up. And I'm going to encourage you to make a leftover or a use up shelf. That's just a shelf in your refrigerator where you're going to put your leftovers or items that you know are going to be expiring soon that you can rotate into your next couple of days' meals. And you're going to want to go through that constantly and keep that updated and use the foods on that shelf first. Number 3 is be creative. Think of a flavor palette for an item you are picking to make a meal out of, and then incorporate those leftovers or those almost expired items into that flavor palette. And you're going to see that we do that with a can of tuna fish. Now we're going to take a break right here, and we're going to turn the camera around. We're going to get into the kitchen, and we're going to show you our first zero food waste recipe. So here we go. We're using up bits and pieces of food that we have in our pantry or refrigerator. We need to become creative. And that's what I'm going to do this morning. We have some eggs. We have only 2 pieces of bacon left. We have a bunch of different ends of bread that I've been storing in the refrigerator. We have a little bit of some Swiss cheese and some milk. And we are going to make a hearty breakfast casserole. So the first thing I'm doing is in a 9-inch casserole dish. I am just greasing it with the butter wrappers that I keep in my refrigerator. I just put the bacon on to fry, and I'm just going to take this bread and put it into little cubes. It's kind of crumbly. It's stale bread. So, but that's okay. And then once I have it cut, I'm just going to cube it like this. That's all. We're just making little slices. The best part of this is you're so creative when you're thinking up these new recipes. It's a great way, now with food being so high, to just mix it up a little bit. So I just put our 4 eggs in a bowl, and I'm just going to give them a good whisk. You can hear that bacon crackling in the background. And now I'm also going to add a cup of milk, a dash of salt, some black pepper, and you can season this any way you want, really. I'm going to put in some onion powder and a dash of garlic powder. Again, going to whisk that milk and eggs all together. Now I'm just going to add a 1/3 cup more milk. I don't want this to be dry. And I'm looking at the amount of bread and I'm looking at the amount of liquid. So that is 1 1/3 cups milk I added to the 4 eggs. The bread, after it was cubed, comes to about 3 cups of cubed bread, which is exactly what we want. First thing I'm going to do is take half this bread and I'm going to layer it on the bottom, just like that. And then I grated our Swiss cheese, so I have just about a cup of cheese or so. But if you want to use less, that's fine. Then I'm going to take half the cheese and I'm just sprinkling it over the bread. And I'm going to do this again, put the rest of the bread on top, and then a little more cheese. I think I could have probably used less cheese, but you know what? We're using it up and that's fine. Then I'm going to take the egg mixture and I'm just going to pour it over the top. We fried up those 2 pieces of bacon till they were nice and crispy. Now I'm just sprinkling them on top. And this is just taking some humble, simple ingredients and making a beautiful casserole. Now I'm going to pop it in a 325 oven for about 40 to 45 minutes. I'll check it. Remember to always cook other things at the same time if you can. This way we save money on gas. This is our ongoing cup of bacon grease we have been keeping. So we just cooked that bacon, and what we're going to do is once it's cool, we're going to add it right to the cup. And as some people call this, liquid gold. What I would suggest you doing is every once in a while, you're going to want to switch it out and finish this and start a new one. You just don't want to keep piling fresh grease on top of the older grease. So just my little tip, and always store it in the refrigerator. I have to say, I am pleasantly surprised. Did you think it would look this good?
No, it's like a puff pastry.
We cooked this for 45 minutes and it looks like it is done to perfection. This is puffy and it smells really, really good. I'm going to put the timer on for about 5 minutes just to let it sit, and then we'll cut into it. We just sliced this, and oh my goodness, is this beautiful. It cooked through the bread, absorbed that egg and milk mixture, the bacon, the cheese. I would definitely recommend this one. That was a total Paul approved recipe.
That's a Paul approved recipe. You got to try it. Really good.
We were super surprised how puffy and beautiful it came out. Make that one, try it. Great way to use up some leftover bread. We always think of a sweet bread pudding, but this is almost like a savory bread pudding, and it was really delicious. So let's get back to our tips now. Number 4, freeze what you know you're not going to be able to use right away. So if you have a surplus of something, let's say bananas, freeze them if you think you're not going to be able to use them right away. If you have leftovers that you are not going to get to in this week's meal rotation, freeze them. The freezer is your friend, like I tell you all the time. A great way to not waste food is to freeze it before it spoils. Number 5, Look to sub out ingredients. And what I mean is interchange ingredients if you are able. This way you're not getting in your car, you're not going to the store. Like I tell you all the time, we want to keep those gas guzzling road trips to a minimum. What can you substitute one item for another? And it's amazing how creative you can be. But now we're going to take a break again. We're going to get into the kitchen. And I am going to show you what I talked about to match flavors with one basic ingredient. And we're doing that with a can of tuna fish. We're going to show you another economical pantry, no waste recipe. Let's turn this camera around and get into the kitchen. We're going to show you how to make a very frugal pantry meal with things you probably have in the house already. A lot of the time, people eat pasta salad cold with tuna. Well, we're going to show you how to make it warm today. And don't cringe, just give me a chance, and I promise you will be thrilled with these delicious results. You need one regular size can of tuna. I prefer the solid white tuna. It's less fishy. It's just a better cut of tuna. And these go on sale for about $1 a can. You're going to need some garlic, some really good extra virgin olive oil, some black olives or Kalamata olives. I don't have Kalamata olives, but if I had that, I'd be using them. But these are going to just be fine. Some regular pasta. I have some ziti and then just some capers. Super simple, very delicious. To my pot of boiling water, I added 1/2 pound of ziti and I'm going to cook that till al dente. We're going to start with 3/4 cup of the black olives and we're just going to coarsely chop them. Now that the pasta is in the water, I am going to add 2 tablespoons of olive oil to my pan. Add 1 or 2 cloves of minced garlic to taste. We're just going to let that cook just till we can smell it. We're going to put our olives in. Now I lowered the heat to low. I drained our tuna, and now I'm adding that. And you can just flake this. You don't want to really mush it up. You just want to flake it. And all these flavors are going to come together so beautifully. I rinsed about 1 tablespoon of capers, and I'm adding that in as well. This is optional, but I'm going to just add a little bit of red pepper. These are all just simple pantry ingredients. I wish you could smell this. I always say that, but oh my goodness. Now just to give it a little bit of a citrus, I'm adding a little bit of lemon juice. You don't even need to do this. But if you have a little lemon juice, you can add that as well too. Now we're just going to let these flavors come together. I have it on a very low heat. I'm going to cook it just for about 3 to 4 minutes. Now don't be worried that this looks dry, because what we're going to do is take some of the starchy pasta water and we're going to be adding it to this right before the pasta is done. Now very carefully I took out about 3/4 of a cup of that pasta water. Now it's on low heat. I'm going to put it up to medium and just let it cook down for about 3 minutes. I'm going to drain my pasta because it is done, and this meal is coming together beautifully. Oh my goodness. This is going to be probably one of the most surprising dishes you've ever eaten. It's such simple ingredients. You're not going to believe how yummy this is. So I'm going to plate it up and put just a little bit of grated Parm on it. And then I'm going to have Paul taste it because Paul does not like tuna. Did I mention that? So let's see what he thinks of this. All right, we are ready, Paul.
All right, here we go. I'm not a big fan of tuna fish. Wow. I don't taste that tuna fish flavor.
Right?
Like, a mayonnaise and tuna fish sandwich type of thing.
Yep.
Doesn't taste like that at all. This is really good. The saltiness of the capers, the oil and the garlic, the pasta, it all works. It was quick and easy. I mean, what did it take us? Less than 10 minutes?
Yeah, it
15
was real
minutes?
good. Yeah.
The hardest part was boiling water.
Right.
Just don't watch the pot. So, yeah, no, it's a win.
Hands down, that was our absolute favorite recipe out of all three of these. Would you eat that again?
Yeah, that was definitely Paul approved. I couldn't believe how it tasted. And I didn't taste tuna fish at all.
It was just like this fresh Mediterranean pasta. And that tuna just added that punch of protein. It's super economical. Solid white tuna in our area has been going on sale for about $1 a can lately, which is a great price. They're like the 4.5 ounce cans, I believe. When you mix it with other ingredients like those olives and the garlic and the capers, I would actually serve it to company. That's how delicious it was. Now, the last recipe we are going to share with you is where we sub out one ingredient for another. Instead of putting an egg in this recipe, I saw that a banana can be substituted, one ripe banana for an egg. And I said, let me try it. This was a total win. And as I'll mention after I make it, it would make a delicious breakfast cookie. So let's turn the camera around for one last time and get in the kitchen. The great thing about a recipe is you can make it your own. I had a banana that needed to be used up, as you can see, and then like a quarter of one as well. So I have a 3-ingredient peanut butter cookie recipe here. And it should be a half a cup of sugar, a cup of peanut butter, and then an egg. But I'm going to use a banana instead. Think about that peanut butter and banana flavor, how delicious that will be. We're using up what we have, we're using up what's in our pantry, and we're also subbing out one ingredient for another. Just love to share my Pyrex with you. So this is today's mixing bowl. Isn't that precious? Oh my goodness. So first thing I'm going to do is just mash up that banana and a quarter. It says to substitute one banana for an egg, but I can't imagine that little quarter of banana making that much difference. And again, we don't want to waste anything. I'm going to add my cup of peanut butter. This is just regular chunky peanut butter. If you remember in a previous video, I told you we are well stocked on peanut butter, so I want to start using that up as well. And then the original recipe did call for a cup of sugar, and that is just so much. I've got a half cup here, and I think I'm literally going to only use a quarter. I can even taste the dough because there's no egg in there, and see how sweet it is. But I think with that banana and my peanut butter, I'm thinking a quarter cup will probably be about perfect. I just tasted the dough. It is very delicious and sweet. A quarter cup of sugar, if you're using a banana, is more than enough, honestly. Now, I just asked Paul, and he would like some chocolate chips. This is definitely not necessary. I'm only adding 2 tablespoons. That's all this is 2 tablespoons of chips. And that's more than enough. These recipes that call for, oh, you need to add a full cup of chocolate chips in, or 2 cups of chocolate chips, run the other way. No way do you need that much. So I'm going to be using a new little gadget that one of my sweet viewers sent me. And I thank you for this because I think this is going to make cookie making a lot easier. So we're just going to take a little spoonful. We're going to go right here. Oh yeah, that works. I'm loving this. Oh my gosh, this is awesome. You're going to want to put the cookies either on parchment paper or your silicone baking mat. Now I'm just going to take a little bit of sugar in the raw and gently give these cookies a little pat down. My oven is preheated to 350 degrees. Now, being that we're using a banana and not an egg, I'm going to keep an eye on it. It says to cook them anywhere between like 6 to 8 minutes, but these may need a little bit longer. So I'll check them around 6 minutes, but I will let you know the total baking time. These cooked for 11 minutes. I'm going to let them cool on the cookie sheet for about 5 to 7 minutes or so. And then I'll transfer them to a wire rack to cool completely. And we just put the second tray in. Now this recipe makes about 20 cookies, which is perfect for Paul and I. And of course, you can make larger batches and freeze them. They came out so well. It could even be used as a breakfast cookie, honestly, with that peanut butter and banana. Another zero waste food recipe for you to try. They were better, I think, with the banana than they ever were with the egg. The taste is so much richer. You get that subtle banana taste, and then we added just 2 tablespoons of the mini chocolate chips. And that just brought it to life. So really delicious, easy, frugal recipe. I hope you can incorporate some of these recipes into your meal plan for the week. Look around, see what you need to use. When you don't waste food, boy, is that an empowering feeling. Today's question of the day. Would you please share your 3 top pantry items that you always have in your home? The top 3. I'm sure you have a ton more, but give me the 3 that you never ever let yourself run out of. Because not only will that encourage Paul and I, as I always tell you, but our viewers as well, because you don't know, maybe one of those ingredients would be an aha moment for Paul and I and be like, yeah, you know, we really should be keeping that in the house as well. So please share that with us. We thank you again for spending this time with us. We ask that you take a minute and please give this a thumbs up. It helps us so much in the YouTube world. Don't forget to subscribe. So come on in if you haven't yet. Click that subscribe button and don't forget that little notification bell, that little tiny bell next to subscribe. Click, hold, and go to all, and then every time we make a video, you won't miss a one. We ask you to be safe. We ask you to stay well, and above all, we wish you blessings. Until our next video, may God bless you.